Yeah, we're doing
Both
good.
of them had a right rear hub failure of some kind, and both of them are back in 22nd, 23rd. I think we got to quit picking, guys. Seems like we jinxed them on that one.
Yeah, well, don't tell them that or we'll all be in trouble. So the way they'll come back, as you just saw, the entire order is with Alex Zanardi leading Scott Pruitt and then Andre Ribeiro. They are beginning now to do the final move that cleans up the turn 4 and pit entrance area where Roberto Moreno got into the wall, been released, bruised his thigh, but otherwise appears to be okay. And then we should go back to the green flag once again. 105 laps have been completed of the 250. If rain becomes a factor, it has not yet. And as you've already heard, Roger Penske has a plane up. I suspect he's not the only one out there, as so ably put earlier, almost as hurricane hunters looking for the weather. I'm not sure how much good that does. You know, there's so much cellular activity up here. You may find it, but you don't know where it's going. But at any rate, at 125 laps, 20 laps from now, this would become an official race as they cross over really the 126th lap, should rain figure into it. And the guess early on, my guess at least, was that rain was a consideration because they were running so hard. But it appears that the reality is the cars are just working so well and they are enjoying the run so much that they are running hard nevertheless. Let's go down to the target pits and Jackaroo.
Well, this should be a very exciting restart. Now look who'll bring the field down. It'll be Alex Zanardi, but look who'll be leading the slow lane, the cars that are one lap or more down. His teammate, Jimmy Vasser. Vasser needs to make up some laps. So what do you do if you're Chip Ganassi? Do you give team orders? I've been around this team for a long time, and I'll guarantee you, right now, nobody's saying anything.
Well, if he would, who would listen? Maybe he's just an experienced guy. You see Jimmy Vasser as he swerves back and forth behind Alex Zanardi as we're ready to come back to one lap. The cross flags in this case are telling them to move into those two rows with the guys all on the lead lap down low. Cross flags, you know, traditionally have always meant the midpoint in the race, but in this case, this is the signal for those cars to pull into their appropriate lines and get ready to come back to green flag at the conclusion of this lap. Jackaroo?
Very seldom does Bobby Rahal get to serve as a car runner. He's out of the race, so he does today. He's working the radio with Brian Herta, his teammate. He just said to Brian, hey, you're doing a really terrific job. Brian radioed back and said, I think my radio's breaking up. Did you say I was doing a really good job and you're going to give me a raise? Bobby was silent.
So some humor being played from the 8th position of Brian Herta. Now they form up coming off of turn 2. Remember what Zanardi has been doing as he brings them back to the line is he's tended to drop back just a little bit. Let's go to Gary Gerald.
Quick word before green from Roberto Moreno. Are you all right?
Yeah, no problem. This hospital here is fantastic. I always told Steve, Dr. Steve, I would never like to walk in there with an accident, but they fix you so quick, you're out of there, no problem. I'm a bit more worried about the car now.
What happened to the car?
I just got behind a slipstream of somebody just past me, and there were two cars, and they just completely clear my air, and I just understeer into the wall.
Thanks, Roberto.
Well, goodbye to the rest of the field from Alex Zanardi as he gets a great bit of momentum coming back to the start. Scott Pruitt is in pursuit from second place. Ribeiro, you're on board with him in third. But Zanardi, pacing is everything, coming back to the green, and he certainly had it. Now, the rest of the field does begin to catch up a bit as they come back up to full speed. Zanardi, Pruitt, Ribeiro, Unser Jr., Gilles de Ferran, the top 5, and they're all right together.
I think that button that Jack discovered must be working pretty well on those restarts. He just flew away from the field, but look at this.
Ribeiro down low works on Scott Pruitt. Honda versus Ford Cosworth, and Ribeiro moves into second place. Remember, Ribeiro won on the oval at Rio early in the year. Al Unser Jr. now trying to move on Pruitt. The first 4 right together.
And Gilles de Ferran hanging on right there at the back. He's not having a bad time either.
Say now there are 5 all right together. Ribeiro tried to move. Lost some momentum. Here comes Scott Pruitt. Because Ribeiro did lose the momentum. Here comes DeFerrin around Unser Jr. Double pass for you right there. Pruitt back to second. DeFerrin to fourth. Now moving on Ribeiro.
Well, you see how critical that is when you just breathe that throttle a little bit because you're trying that pass on the other car. And what's he doing? He loses three spots.
Two Hondas battle it there. And finally, DeFerrin is able to move around Ribeiro, picks up third place. So it's Zanardi, Pruitt, DeFerrin, Ribeiro, and then Unser Jr. DeFerrin is that bright yellow car. The red, white, and blue just in front of him is Scott Pruitt.
One thing Jim Hall said yesterday at his retirement was that he said he was really wanted to focus the team for the rest of the season on winning this championship. I'm sure there's nothing that he would like more than to go out on top.
DeFerrin closes Pruitt. Boy, right up behind him at the start-finish. Pruitt's not going to give that up that easy. DeFerrin down inside, takes the better line. The faster line takes position.
Paul, one of the other reasons they have to go in there like that is they don't want to lose that momentum. He has to stay on the throttle.
Ribeiro working Pruitt now. This time Scott's not going to let it happen. But DeFerrin's going to be closing on the leader here shortly. First five still right together. Last in that group is the red and white car of Al Unser Jr. And that interval for Zanardi, that's almost meaningless. That's measured over on the start-finish line and fluctuates wildly as they go through the corners. The LCI car is Andre Ribeiro. Here is DeFerrin. Second place. Trying to move up towards Zanardi. Looking back from Scott Pruitt at Ribeiro. You were just on board. From Ribeiro's point of view, looked like he was going to try the high side, then darted down low. This view always astonishes me at how much they dart back and forth.
How much moving around there as he went down there. I'm not so sure that Ribeiro's car is working as well as he'd like it to, and that's why I think he's using more track, and he has a little bit of trouble when he gets in there underneath him. Here he goes again. He's going to try high. High works.
Yeah, it worked that time. High groove is the place, Andre. 116 laps complete by the leader. Begins to overhaul slower traffic for the first time in this segment. Last set of stops were on the 98th lap, so not that far into this run. And Zanardi on this segment seems to be able to pull away from everyone else, or at least keep station at the front of the field.
That looked like Fernandez was in between Al Jr. and Scott Pruitt.
Very definitely is. He's moved into fifth place. Here's the field coming through. Zanardi, the red target car, the leader of the race, and pulling that lead out now to 1.1 second. DeFerrin sits in second, followed by Ribeiro, followed by Pruitt, Fernandez, and then Allenser Jr., Gugelman, Blundell, Herta, and Stefan Johansson.
Saturday on a Wide World Special.
We're back at the Michigan 500. You're looking back at Adrian Fernandez as he works on Scott Pruitt for 4th place. Joe DeFerrin, while we were away, was challenged by Andre Ribeiro, and Ribeiro moved into 2nd now as Fernandez moves into 4th. And here is Ribeiro moving on the leader as he works inside of Zanardi. Zanardi stays high. Ribeiro tracks up there a bit. On board Ribeiro, Zanardi lies just ahead. DeFerrin is closing. You know, Ribeiro's been putting that car about anywhere he wants.
Well, he has been, but I just looked at him there. He looked like he pulled out of the draft in there because he was probably losing some air to that nose. If he's got a little bit of a push there, that disturbed air will give it to him worse.
That was Hero that he just flashed past there to show you a difference in relative speed. Hero's down running 18th place right now.
I thought his move earlier on Scott Pruitt around the top was a really good move, seemed to carry the most speed. But Zanardi's running up there as well, so he can't give him that road.
Traffic an issue now. Davy Jones ahead of Ribeiro alongside of Zanardi.
I thought when Ribeiro went in that time under Davy Jones, he had to lift a little bit, which means his car's probably pushing a little bit.
3rd place DeFerrin makes his way around Davy Jones. Here comes Fernandez. So they all clear the slower car with the exception of Pruitt, who will handle him up now. And look at as they come around Vassar. Vassar just not performing this race. Whoa, up against the wall. Oh, no. Unbelievable. Leader of the race, Alex Zanardi, pushes high into the wall, and his day is over. Ribeiro will take over the lead under yellow. That's Chip Ganassi, his owner. Oh, boy, just that quick. And that's what we talked about. Just, I mean, a lapse of a millisecond, and that'll happen.
And
Here
I think this came from traffic. He's going up high, goes around, car's moving up just a little bit, gets in that gray. That's all. Boy. That's all it took. That's all it took. Once he got in the gray, just like we saw a while ago in Moreno, you just get in that gray. You got a little pushing up there. Look at him. He knows right there. He threw it all away.
Obviously, Alex is okay as he climbed out of the car, but he is frustrated beyond belief. He tells the crew, yeah, I'm fine.
That's
as fine
Dr.
as one
Terry
can
Trammell.
be. Yep. Boy, what a terrible disappointment for Zanardi. Dominated here, was very powerful here in the US 500 on the 26th of May. Powerful here again today, and then just that quickly, a brush with the wall that is devastating to the car. His expression says it all, doesn't it? So Ribeiro will take the lead under yellow as we look at it from Vassar's onboard camera.
Whoa, that little piece right there looked like it came back almost, I thought it made contact with Jimmy's car. Watch this, the piece comes off, the wing comes back there. I think it, and the tire, but look at this wing piece. Comes back, no, missed. What's that? Yes.
Oh, that. What?
Oh, and
oh
over.
My goodness.
And hit, look at tore
He
out
take
part
off
of
the end plate on the rear wing
Oh.
on DeFerrin. Boy, I didn't see that earlier. Good call, Danny.
Oh.
Jack Harut?
Well, we've caught up with Alex Zanardi, made the long walk back to pit road. Seemed as if the car was pushing most of the day. It was going out real wide to the wall.
Yeah, that's right. At the beginning of the race, the car was pushing quite badly. We put some downforce in the pit stop.